Bill Tessendorf.
Okay, Bill. How did you first get involved with the OATA?
When I worked in Cleveland with the Browns, we were kind of a loose organization, a social group, and then when we decided to form was in the original group that went down to Columbus and had the first state meeting, and I think there was about 25 of us that attended one Sunday down at Arlington High School, and that's how I got involved. I was involved a little bit when I was in Illinois at Northern Illinois University, and it was a natural tendency because we knew the direction that the states were going as far as licensure, and you needed to be organized to do that.
What was it like first getting OATA together?
I probably didn't have as much work to do because our leadership team was very good. The one thing Ohio has is great leadership in state, and Whitestones and the Lakes and all the other people that have been instrumental in the history of the OATA had those skills to help put that together. I was kind of cruising a little bit on their coattails, but as much as it was as much a learning situation for me as they were in the development of that.
What is the biggest change that you've seen in athletic training?
You know, it's probably the biggest change is when I started, there was a handful of females. Now I'm considered a minority, but it's more so is that, you know, I think we've gained as a profession recognition. We still got a long ways to go to maybe some of the other professions in there, but I think people that work with athletic trainers realize the preparation and the skill level that we have. Working in professional athletes, I have a much closer relationship with team physicians where maybe a high school trainer doesn't have that relationship because it's usually based on the family physician. And the ones that embrace that provider or that assistant for them will get that. So I think that you know, it's one of those things, it's the changing of there and looking at the status because you can talk to somebody. It's not some guy that just rolls out the water jugs, but is the first responder and can give information back to the providers that how a player is doing, you know.
If you could change one thing in athletic training, what would it be?
Since I came through the old apprenticeship program, there's times that I wish I would have had a lot of the structure that is currently in the educational curriculum in there, but I think also that what we gained was the exposure to the training room and the athletes and interacting with the coaches. You can be tech smart or knowledge smart, but if you can't communicate to the player and be willing to listen to them, you're not going to get the whole story, and it may be biased or prejudiced one way or the other, that it's not going to assist you. So I think that what's changed is the contact hours required, and it's I think as we get into the profession, I think that that's one of the things that the new athletic trainer, because of the curriculum and that, has to make sure that he gets out and gets a good feeling of it. You really don't, when you graduate, you don't know what you don't know. And that's what you need to learn and work on that. You got to become very people-oriented.
Roughly, when you did your apprenticeship, went that route, roughly how many hours do you think you put in during your apprenticeship?
Well, the minimum I think was 1,200 or 1,500 hours. We basically were in the training room during the season, you know, from 2:30 in the afternoon, it might be 6 or 7 o'clock at night, and that was 6 or 7 days a week. So you kind of lose count a little bit in there, but I think the thing is that being around in the training room on the field, you saw the real life things. You know, I saw my first dislocated elbow there, saw my first femur fracture there. You know, some of the other stuff. hands-on, being there from the start, see how others do it, it makes a big difference there.
Any pearls of wisdoms for younger members like myself?
They're not mine original, and I have to accredit it to do. One was from one of my team physicians, John Bergfeld, who is really one of the fathers of sports medicine at Cleveland Clinic. Is basically attention to detail is the key to success. When I've forgotten that pearl or failed to observe it, it always came back to bite me, per se. I think that's it. And then I think the other pearl is this: is that you gotta listen. I've learned, at least my experience is, the athletes really know what happened. Oh, I heard this pop, or felt this. If you get, if you're jumping in to do a physical exam without listening to the full facts, you're probably going to be led to some conclusion that might be, yeah, I hurt my knee, but oh yeah, I hurt that 2 years ago, and that's why I've got maybe some knee laxity or something like that.
What is one quote you are known for, or a phrase you have repeated throughout your career?
I wish I could tell you that. I mean, it's, I really don't know any particular thing. Sometimes the old adage is, I'm sure if you talk to my colleagues and former players, they would give you some good stuff, but it's one of those things that I guess there's a lot of things that as you get experience, roll off your tongue,
What are your favorite memories from being involved in the OATA?
I think the camaraderie in there, because I was in a strange situation in there because I was in pro sports. And I mean, Larry Starr and myself were probably the two that were actively involved in OATA, and we're kind of isolated when you're in a conference and you're seeing them on Friday or Saturday or whatever it is, that camaraderie. So my time was limited to what I had, and there's so many things that I learned in OATA that related not necessarily to athletic training, but just people and how people think and thinking. You think you know what it is, but then you also have to listen to somebody else with some rational thinking. And the one thing that has always been great about our profession is we are a profession of sharing. We share with our players, we share with our patients, and then we share with each other. I've yet to see a secret that is going to put you ahead of somebody else. But what it may do is help somebody else in that situation.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge you've seen or experienced in your career? It could be personally or for the profession overall.
It's hard to say the biggest challenge. I mean, every day is kind of a little bit of a challenge. It's keeping abreast. The body of knowledge is that it keeps developing in there. I think the challenge personally for me was to kind of separate professional life and home life. I give my wife credit for raising my daughter because I really wasn't around for that. And, but it's you have to take a break. Since I've retired, there is life beyond football. And you need to do that because my mind clearing was the fact I had to drive 25 minutes each way to and from work. And I learned that I had to leave work at home. Unfortunately, as with the invent of cell phones and pagers, that kind of they reattach to now where it's almost in unison. So I think that you've got to learn, or the challenge is to separate yourself. Unfortunately, a lot of times I put the job before family or personal self. I've been in professional football 38.
Oh wow!
I did
How did that
join
start?
the Browns in June of '71, and then when the franchise moved, I was asked to come to the franchise here. So I had spent 38 years in the NFL.
Wow. So you made the move from Cleveland to
I was
Baltimore?
asked, yes, I did. It was one of those things that, the thing about it, it was hard because I really like Cleveland and I really like the OATA, and you don't know where it is, in here. I was fortunate that we went to Maryland. It's got a great bunch of athletic trainers in there. Maybe not the structure that the OATA had developed in that association, and they probably have it, but they were there a long time. I was the guy coming out, but I was welcomed with open arms. And I think that, again, that's the nature of our profession, whether you're a high school trainer talking to a college trainer about some problem he has, or the pros, or vice versa. It's a profession that shares with each other.
What is the best part of being an athletic trainer, or being involved, or having been involved with OATA?
Well, as far as an athletic trainer, I think it's everybody else's success. If you got an athlete who maybe skilled or maybe no skills at all, and gets hurt and gets back to that pre-competition level, and the thing is that, and with OATA, is that we can all share those experiences, because I actually had some of my players had come through Ohio schools and colleges that I knew the athletic trainer in that. So I mean, those are the best memories of it. And people would ask me, how many kids you have? And I would say I had one daughter and 58 sons. So it truly is, and in our business, you build lifelong relationships. It always tickles me pink when a player will call me and says, "Tess, you probably don't remember me, but oh yeah, I remember the name, I don't know the face. Well, my son is this, or my daughter is that." So that's, it's a lifetime friendship. And I've had them all. I mean, I've got guys who unfortunately have passed on by violent means, have been jailed, and are also judges. So I mean, it's the whole gamut of life.
What does it mean to be an athletic trainer to you?
It was a job choice that I had. My dad gave me one bit of advice. He said, if you got to work for a living, do something you enjoy. When I went to school, I had a different attitude. I thought what I wanted to do, like many kids going to college. Yeah, this looks cool. And then I was fortunate to be at an institution where the athletic trainer allowed me to get involved, and as you got involved and showed responsibility, you were able to go ahead and jump in there. So it's been a great profession for me. It's got me able to be associated with great athletic trainers, with great coaches, with tremendous physicians that are leaders in there, and it's, oftentimes I'm able to call them friend.
That's cool. Looking back, would you change something about your career? If so, what would it be and why?
Maybe I would have been a better student in there. I think that the one thing that what we need to do as a profession is, or as a young student coming out, is to make sure that you do a bunch of options there to add, whether it's thinking about some extra courses, or maybe getting certified as an ortho tech or something else, somehow to add on to that experience. There's some facets. Sometimes it's better to have a couple extra career options in there, and they're very applicable to others. So I think that maybe if I had to do it, maybe I would have done a little stronger in maybe some PT background. Maybe not. I don't know. But as you get older, sometimes it's just too late to go back and do that officially, but you kind of pick it up elsewhere.